Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Omawan back at you with another lesson. And just want to touch on this lesson real quick while I'm in transit. All right. Nothing long at all, you know, just something quick and straight to the point. All right. But, not too many scriptures neither. But just wanted to touch on it because as the title states, right? I told you this drama will come. Knicks fans tripping, distraction sports. All right. Which I was gonna show a bunch of videos, but it's irrelevant. All right. Because I could just basically speak on it and it ain't nothing like it's prophecy or anything like that. All right. So that's why I just chose not to show the rest of the clips. And I'm in transit instead. All right. But I have a whole bunch of clips according to Instagram, right? Where it shows all these Knicks fans tripping, right? And we're in a crazy time right now, right? Because there's a lot going on with sports right now. Right? There's a lot going on with sports. You have the finals right now with basketball, Spurs and Knicks. You also have the World Cup that's coming at the same time. You have the Stanley Cup that's about to happen. All right. So sports right now, all right, is a very big distraction. All right. And it's always been a distraction to our people. That's why they use sports to basically, brainwash the masses of what's really going on, to hide what's really going on behind closed doors, you see. And these people are so caught up with these different sports because these people worship sports like it's a god. Okay, you have to understand that these people literally worship sports like it's a god. All right, and the videos I could just, like I said, I ain't even gonna show them, but the videos that I had, you have a whole bunch of videos. One video is with a bunch of Knicks fans the day that they lost against the Spurs, which was the first game at home, which was the third game. All right, you had them grab a Spurs fan, which that shit is hella childish. It's like you can't even root for your own team nowadays, and let alone if you're rooting for the opposite team in someone's hometown, But basically, you had them grab I think it was a Edomite white boy. Might have not been. I think it was though. They done beat his ass in the outside of the streets, man. All right, and if I'm right, I think there's two videos going on. There's one that says that he got killed, and there's one that says that he got really badly injured. I don't know which one is what, but regardless, you see shit like that anyway. Okay, sometimes over exaggerating with the celebration, might actually put somebody down, put somebody in their grave, man. You see, so it's wild that you even see people get that stupid with sports, right? You also see last night they won a very big game, all right? And what they did was with that big ass game, they went and destroyed their own town. Like that's even more fucking retarded that here it is because you won a basketball game. The damn fans acting like they won the game themselves. And then they go out there and they destroy their own town. They destroy their own city, burning down fucking buildings and shit, burning down cars, stomping on police cars and shit like that. And before the series even started, from the first game that went down, all right, that's pretty much where I came up with this title. It took me a couple of days, more than a couple of days to bring out the video, and it's funny because this is an easy way for them to use toward our people to usher in, they're not going to usher in martial law, but it could bring in National Guards, it could turn things into a whole nother scenario. where they have to bring in National Guards, martial law troops, intensify on police and security and things like that, all because of a fucking basketball game, or sports, period. Because like I said, people get rowdy in sports, man. People worship these sports, man. All right. And that shit is vanity at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, I'll grab a scripture. Like I said, it's not too many scriptures, but a couple pop up into my mind, right? This is Ecclesiastes. All right. Ecclesiastes 2:1. It says, I said in mine heart, go to now, I will prove thee with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, this also is vanity. See, so, you got Solomon that's telling you that to have pleasure and joy is vanity. All right. And everything that's all the works done under the sun is vanity. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. All right. Scriptures tell you, matter of fact, let me grab it since I'm right here. This is Ecclesiastes 7:2. It says it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. When you go into the NLT, which I can't because I don't have connection on this one. But when you go into that word feasting in the NLT, it basically says celebrations, celebrating. So it's better to go to the house of mourning, house of funerals, than to go to the house of celebrations, man. You see? And it says, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Yeah, because when you look at the times of Noah, they were doing exactly that, right? Scriptures say in the times, like in the days of Noah, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving into marrying, giving into marriage. They were giving into a lot of feasting in those days, man. Celebrating. Here it was that you had Noah basically, telling you this place is about to be destroyed by a flood. And he out there building an ark, and prophesying for 120 years. And they didn't believe none of that until, the actual destruction came, until the actual raindrops came about. And then everybody began to panic. So, it's a spiritual thing that you even see people caught up with these bread and circuses like that in these days, man, because it's all vanity. It's all considered feasting. Okay. And just like in the days of Noah, that's exactly what they were doing. Drinking, eating, feasting, marrying, giving into a whole lot of sexual activity, and if these guys do end up winning, right, which I believe they're going to end up winning because it's all rigged anyway. All right. But if they end up winning, oh, man, New York is going to go fucking crazy. All right. And they might win it tomorrow. All right. So if they win it tomorrow, all right, mark my words, you're going to hear on the news how crazy New York has gotten over a simple ass sports game. All right, the World Cup, we got the Stanley Cup at the same time. So there's a whole lot of distractions happening. And while these distractions are popping off, and yeah, it seems fun. And it's not saying we can't watch these things, because most of us grew up around sports and shit like that, But the beautiful thing is that we know we're in the know of what's going on. We're not sidetracked like the rest of these people. These people are just completely lost, They have no clue that while they're out there celebrating and worrying about 10-year plans and worrying about what team's going to win next year and this year and all that bullshit, that evils is growing upon the earth, right? Evils is growing upon the earth. Famine is being conjured up, stirred up by your elites. You see? So, these people are in for a surprise. And if they do win, I believe they're gonna tear down that city. And it's gonna cause, something like, National Guard to come in, and bring a couple people down. Like I said, I have to show all these videos, but I'm sure if y'all are watching what's going on around the world, your algorithm is showing you the same thing that it's showing me, because we all have the same algorithms, But they had a mad police last night, all right, arresting a lot of fans, man, and most of them were Jake. You know, some of them were a couple of fucking Edomites and shit, because Edomites get stupid when they get drunk. All right, but for the most part, all right, all these arrests that you saw being made on Instagram was Jake being arrested for acting a damn fool, beating people up, beating each other up. Here it is. Niggas is Knicks fans together and they're out there beating each other the fuck up. You know? Getting caught up for vandalism, getting caught up for what's the other one when you destroy property? I forgot what it's called. All right, but they were destroying property, they were destroying police vehicles, trying to flip cars. You know, this is the different types of shit that they were literally showing all over the web, you know. And like I said, that shit is childish. One, it's just a fucking game, a rigged game that, you know. And you know, it ain't nothing that's, you know, to get that excited about, because we're in wicked times, man. And as you know, these things are happening, people are being distracted more and more by the bread and circuses, you see? So, Yahweh Shimmy Hawashai got him in that type of mentality for a while, for a reason. You know, he got him under that's really strong delusion, man. When you really look back at it, all right, the Lord has put them into strong delusion because they believe not the gospel. Right, let's grab that real quick. As a matter of fact, this is which actually brought out more scriptures than I thought. Right, this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10, and it says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, right, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. You know, these people live in a world of lies, man. You know, even as far as these games, like I said, they're fucking rigged. Who comes back? You're a professional team, right? You're a professional team getting paid millions of dollars, and you were winning by 30 fucking points, and you allow the other team to come back and win by one. So that shit is rigged in the half. I mean, was it a great game? Was it cool as hell to see that shit? You know, was it history? Yeah, absolutely. But that shit makes no sense, because you're professional teams, man. You know how to hold the ball. You know how to run out the clock. All right. So these people are under strong delusion. All right, thinking that these things, you know. And it's all rigged just to keep you in distractions, right? Or like I was, you know, been saying for the last couple of days, I was telling my pops, you know, people I've been talking to about that shit. You know, I told them, I said, man, listen, bro, they just setting up New York right now. All they doing is setting up New York to get rowdy as hell. And, you know, a big event can happen out of it. You know, what can happen? Who knows? You know, I'm just speaking as a man. I'm just looking at it through the spirit. You know, they could do all types of numerous things with something like that, man. All right. And like I said, New York is a very rowdy state when it comes to winning in sports. You know, it just happens. It never fails that every time they win something, they just go out there and they just start doing a whole bunch of stupidity. All right. And get so rowdy that police gets involved, multiple police. You know, you basically have the whole fucking state of police in there, you know. And it usually comes out, you know, in a bad manner. People getting arrested, people getting hurt, you know. People in the process might get killed and shit. You never know. And that just goes to show, you know, they'll use that and blame it. And hey, who's always at the forefront of everything? Jake. Jake is always at the forefront of that shit. Oh, well, look at these niggas and spicks. These niggas don't know how to act. You know, and really the ones that be acting the worst around there be like, you know, Edomites and shit. When they be getting drunk, they get stupid. All right. But the ones that's going to get the blame put on them is going to be Jake, you know. So, you know, let's see what happens with it at the end of the day. You know, I just really wanted to touch on that. Nothing serious, like I said. That's why I didn't want to bring out no videos or nothing, because it really ain't prophecy or anything like that. But it does show how people are in the spirit of mirth, and the mirth of the land is gone. All joy is darkened, you know. You know, people shall drink strong drink, and it shall be bitter. You know, they shall not drink wine with a song. you know, and even though they're trying to, because that's what they're doing, they're getting drunk as hell, trying to have celebrations and make the best out of it, you know. But again, evils is growing upon the earth, confusion is growing upon the earth, famine is growing upon the earth while all this is happening, while they're all playing basketball for a championship, while they're all getting ready to play for soccer for a World Cup, while they're all getting ready to play on the ice for a Stanley Cup. You know, there's a lot of wickedness happening right now upon the earth. There's a lot of prophecy being played out. There's a lot of laws, all right, being set by your government, all right, to you know, usher in this NWO. And these people are totally distracted at the end of the day, you know. So, you know, us being in this truth, we have to keep our heads on a swivel at the end of the day, you know, make sure that we're constantly, you know, like I said, there ain't nothing wrong with you watching these sports, you know what I'm saying? But make sure that you're doing the will of the Lord first, making sure that you're always on top of what's going on first. And then, you know, as a little side thing, you know, to just chill at the second, you know, you could go out there and you could watch a game at your house, you know, whatever. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on that at the end of the day. So, Lord willing that it was edifying. So, with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Shalom.